Hello students, in continuity of chapter 10, in this lecture we are going to discuss about microbes in sewage treatment and in production of biogas, as well as microbes as biocontrol agents and as biofertilizers. First of all, we are starting with microbes in sewage treatment. We know that large quantities of wastewater are generated every day in cities and towns. Major component of this wastewater is human excreta. This municipal waste water is called sewage. It contains large amount of organic matter and microbes, many of which are pathogenic. Have you ever wondered where this huge quantity of sewage or urban wastewater is disposed of daily? This cannot be discharged into natural water bodies like rivers and streams, as you know very well. Before disposal, sewage is treated in sewage treatment plants. It is in short also known as STPs, to make it less polluting. Treatment of wastewater is done by heterotrophic microbes naturally present into sewage. This treatment is carried out into two stages. These two stages are primary treatment and second is secondary treatment or biological treatment. We can study this flow chart regarding this sewage treatment. It gives clear idea about primary treatment as well as secondary treatment or biological treatment. Here, this waste pass through various stages like filtration, sedimentation, the removal of this type of sedimental filtration, and different way is by this primary treatment. Then further the secondary treatment is passed through various these compartments, and at the end of this treatment it becomes less polluting and now it can be disposed of. So this way in sewage treatment farm it is provided to this sewage primary treatment and secondary treatment or biological treatment before dispose of this type of waste material. Now let's talk about primary treatment. These treatment steps basically involve physical removal of particles like large and small particles from the sewage through filtration and sedimentation. These are removed in stages. Initially, floating debris is removed by sequential filtration. Then the grit, it means soil, and small pebbles are removed by sedimentation. All solids that settle from the primary sludge and the supernatant form the effluent. The effluent from the primary setting tank this taken for secondary treatment. So this is about primary treatment. Initially it passed through this treatment. Then further secondary treatment or biological treatment. Primary effluent is passed into large aeration tanks, as you have studied in previous flow chart also, where it is constantly agitated mechanically and air is pumped into it. This allows vigorous growth of useful aerobic microbes into flocks. It means masses of bacteria associated with fungal filaments to form mesh like structure. During this growth, these microbes consume the major part of the organic matter in the effluent. This significantly reduces the BOD, it means biological oxygen demand of the effluent. This BOD refers to the amount of the oxygen that would be consumed if all the organic matter in 1 liter of water were oxidized by bacteria. BOD is the amount of oxygen that would be consumed if all the organic matter in 1 liter of water were oxidized by this bacteria. The sewage water is treated till the BOD is reduced. BOD test measures the rate of uptake of oxygen by microorganisms in a sample of water, and thus indirectly BOD is a measure of the organic matter present in the water. Greater the BOD of wastewater, more is its polluting potential. It is clearly observed that. So this way this BOD measure, it means biological oxygen demand term, is very important here. Once the BOD of sewage or wastewater is reduced, the effluent is then passed into a settling tank where the bacterial flux are allowed to sediment, and this sediment is called activated sludge. A small part of the activated sludge is pumped back into the aeration tank to serve as the inoculum. The remaining major part of the sludge is pumped into large tank and it is called anaerobic sludge digesters. Here other kinds of bacteria which grow anaerobically digest the bacteria and the fungi in the sludge. During this digestion process, bacteria produce a mixture of gases such as methane, hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide. These gases form biogas and can be used as source of energy as it is inflammable. The effluent from the secondary treatment plant is generally released into natural water bodies like rivers and stream. So this way, in sewage farm, sewage treatment, such a type of treatment is provided to waste material. Now microbes in production of biogas. First of all, what is biogas? Biogas is a mixture of gases containing predominantly methane actually. So major component of this gas is methane here, produced by the microbial activity and which may be used as a fuel also. In microbe produce different type of gaseous end products during growth and metabolism, as you have studied. The type of the gas produced depend upon the microbes and the organic substrates they utilize. So two factors are important here as the type of gas produced during this, that is the microbes and the organic substrate they utilize. In the examples cited in relation to fermentation of dough, cheese making and production of beverages, the main gas produced was CO2 that you have already studied. Certain bacteria which grow anaerobic on cellulosic material, they produce large amount of methane along with CO2 and H2. These bacteria are collectively called methanogens or methanobacterium, and one such common bacterium is methanobacterium. They are methanogens. This figure gives clear idea about the biogas plant. Here you can see this biogas plant consists of a concrete tank in which bio waste are collected and a slurry of dung is fed. A floating cover is placed over the slurry, which keeps on rising as the gas is produced in the tank due to the microbial activity. As you can see here clearly this arrangement in this figure also. The biogas plant has an outlet which is connected to a pipe to supply biogas to nearby houses. The spent slurry is removed through another outlet and may be used as fertilizer. So this way, since available quantities in rural area, where cattle are used for a variety of purposes. So biogas plants are more often built in rural area and it is used for cooking and lighting purpose. Here in this mechanism, excreta of cattle is rich in methanogens bacteria and used for generation of biogas and is also called commonly, local name is gobar gas. This technology of biogas production, it was developed in India by mainly IARI, it means Indian Agriculture Research Institute, and KVIC, it means Khadi and Village Industries Commission. So these two organizations or institutions have developed this biogas plants mechanism in India and it is very well known in rural area. Biogas plant consists of a concrete tank that you have studied in figure also, in which these biowastes are collected and slurry of dung is fed. So initially this treatment is provided here. As you have seen in figure also, a floating cover is placed over this digester that moves upward when gas is produced. Here the gas which is produced, biogas produced, is removed and supplied through an outlet pipe for consumption purpose. It means for cooking or lighting purpose. The spent slurry is removed through another outlet and used as a fertilizer also. And now it is very well known that this biogas plant is more often built in rural area because a large amount of this cattle dung is available easily in rural area. So this type of arrangement of biogas plant, typical biogas plant, is very useful to this type of people in rural area. Microbes as biocontrol agents. Biocontrol word term refers to the use of biological method for controlling plant disease and pests. As you know, in plants oftenly various type of diseases occur. In modern society, these problems have been taken increasingly by the use of chemicals, but by use of insecticides and pesticides also, this way it can be controlled. These chemicals are toxic and extremely harmful to human beings also and animals alike and have been polluting our environment. It means that soil, groundwater, fruits, vegetables and crop plants. So after all, it is very harmful to us. Our soil is also polluted through our use of weedicides to remove weeds. Biological control of pests and diseases. In agriculture, there is a method of controlling pests that relies on natural predation rather than introduced chemicals. The belief of the organic farmer is that biodiversity further health. The more variety a landscape has, the more sustainable it is. Organic farmer therefore works to create a system where the insects that are sometimes called pest also. So this type of insects, they are harmful, they are also known as pest, are not eradicated but instead are kept at manageable levels by a complex system of checks and balances within a living and vibrant ecosystem. So this is the main purpose of this. Some example we can study easily for the same purpose. Here the ladybird and dragonflies, they are used to get rid of aphids and mosquitoes respectively. So this way they are useful here. On brassicas and fruit tree to control butterfly caterpillars, bacteria named Bacillus thuringiensis is also used here. So we are very familiar to beetle with red and black marking, that is ladybird named here, and dragonflies, and they are useful to get rid of aphids and mosquitoes. And microbial control, biocontrol agents that can be introduced in order to control butterfly caterpillar is the Bacillus thuringiensis, and often it is known as BT. It is very well known term useful for same. These are available in sachets as dried spores which are mixed with water and sprayed onto vulnerable parts such as brassicas and fruit trees, where these are eaten by the insect and larva. In the gut of the larva, the toxin is released and the larva get killed. The bacterial disease will kill the caterpillars but leave other insects unharmed. Because of the development of methods of genetic engineering in the last decade, scientists have introduced Bacillus thuringiensis BT toxin gene into plants. Such plants are resistant to attack by insect pests. BT cotton is one of the example which is being cultivated in some states of our country, in India also, and this way it is very useful to farmers. Biological control developed for use in the treatment of plant disease. Some fungus named Trichoderma. Trichoderma are free living fungi that are very common in the root system that control several plant pathogens. So various way microbes, they are useful as biocontrol agents also. Baculoviruses, they are pathogens that attack insect and other arthropods. Majority of these viruses used as biological control agents, they are in the genus Nucleopolyheridovirus. These viruses are excellent candidate for species specific narrow spectrum insecticidal application. They have been shown to have no negative impact on plants, mammals, birds, fish, or even on non-target insect also. This is especially desirable when beneficial insects are being conserved to aid in an overall integrated pest management, that is IPM program, and when ecological sensitive area is being treated. So this way variously microbes, their use are as a biocontrol agents. Microbes as biofertilizers. As we know, with our present day lifestyle, environment pollution is a major cause of concern. The use of the chemicals, fertilizers to meet the ever increasing demand of agriculture produce has contributed significantly this pollution. This way, this type of sometimes chemical use in this fertilizer is harmful to our environment, plants as well as animal and human being also. We have now realized that there are problems associated with the overuse of chemicals, fertilizers, and there is a large pressure to switch to organic farming. The use of biofertilizers. Organic farming, actually such a type of chemicals, they are not used naturally. Natural methods are useful for this. Biofertilizers are organisms that enrich the nutrient quantity of soil. So this way they enrich the nutrient quality of the soil. Main sources of these biofertilizers, which are these main sources? They are bacteria, fungi and mainly cyanobacteria. So such a type of organisms named bacteria, fungi and cyanobacteria, they are main source of biofertilizers. And as you know, these all organisms, living organisms, they are microorganisms or microbes. You have studied about the nodules on the root, that is root nodule on leguminosae plant formed by symbiotic association of rhizobium. These root nodules, they specifically actually they fix atmospheric nitrogen into its soils, because plant root system cannot directly absorb the atmospheric nitrogen it into the form of N2 gas. So this way, by association of this type of nodule, that is a symbiotic relationship in rhizobium, they fix nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen in its salt. It means NO2 minus and NO3 minus. It is absorbable form of this nitrogen. This bacteria this way fix atmospheric nitrogen into organic form, which is used by the plant as nutrient. Other bacteria can fix atmospheric nitrogen while free living in the soil. These are some examples: Azospirillum and Azotobacter kind of bacteria, thus enriching the nitrogen content of the soil. So this way, the root system of plant, Leguminosae plant, rhizobium bacteria, they fix atmospheric nitrogen in absorbable form into root system of plant, as well as Azotobacter and Azospirillum. They are free living bacteria and they live in soil, and they also fix atmospheric nitrogen into its organic forms. The symbiotic association with plants, that is mycorrhiza, fungi are also known to form this type of symbiotic association with plant, and it is termed specially mycorrhiza. It also increases the fertility of soil. Many members of the genus Clomus, they form mycorrhiza. The fungal symbiote in these associations absorb phosphorus from the soil and passes it to the plant. Plants having such associations, they show other benefits also. These benefits are resistance to root-borne pathogens, tolerance to salinity and drought, and an overall increase in plant growth and development. So this way, this type of association, that is mycorrhiza, is useful for absorption of phosphorus from the soil, which passes it into the plant, and this way these microbes also provide some other benefits. These benefits were like resistance to root-borne pathogens, tolerance to salinity and drought, and this way the overall growth and development of plant is possible. cyanobacteria, they are autotrophic microbes and they are widely distributed in aquatic and terrestrial environment, many of which can fix atmospheric nitrogen. You know very well about this type of cyano type of bacteria, and one of this example is Anabaena. Some other examples are Nostoc, Oscillatoria. In paddy fields, cyanobacteria serve as an important biofertilizer. Blue-green algae also add organic matter to the soil and increase its fertility. So this way, this type of various microorganisms, microbes, they are very useful to increase the fertility of soil, and this way we can also say it acts as a biofertilizer here. Currently in our country, in India, a number of biofertilizers are available commercially in the market also, and farmers use this regularly in their fields. So this way the soil nutrients become rich in nutrients and they reduce the dependence of chemical fertilizers, because now, as we know very well, the fertilizers actually they are used to increase the quality of soil, the nutrient level of the soil, but beside it, it is very harmful to the plant, animal as well as human being also, and gradually the demand of this type of biofertilizer actually is increasing, and nowadays it is also available commercially in market also. So this way it's very important for our environment also.